Michael, I'm not saying we're walking in a winter wonderland.
Joe, you had your moment. Let me just finish the point.
I know, but
I get that.
Tell us something we don't know.
Well, I'm telling you something that you seem to forget. And
so
let me make my point.
Well, we just witnessed a wildly entertaining example of Republican-on-Republican violence, metaphorically speaking, on live TV. And it got heated when former RNC chair Michael Steele took Morning Joe Scarborough to task to his face for, perhaps unwittingly, indulging in MAGA hypocrisy. And we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got one long clip to take a look at here. This is going viral, and I think it's going viral for all the right reasons, and I'm definitely on team Michael Steele. For context, these are two Republicans. Joe Scarborough used to be a Republican congressman. Now he hosts Morning Joe on MSNBC. Michael Steele used to be the chairman of the Republican National Committee, and he has also been nominally allied with Democrats, just like Joe Scarborough, in the age of Trump. However, after Trump won this last election, Joe Scarborough made headlines because he and his wife, Mika Brzezinski, who's sitting to his right, she's also his co-host, went down to Mar-a-Lago to visit Trump in person. And a lot of people interpreted it, understandably so, as Joe and Mika kissing the ring. And here we seem to have another example of Joe Scarborough unwittingly, perhaps, indulging in MAGA hypocrisy. And Michael Steele is not having any of it.
Conservatives who Elon Musk said he was going to personally destroy their political careers said to Elon, go pound sand. They voted against him. Now, the next big test is, what will senators do? They said Gates was not acceptable. Will they say that Pete Hegseth, who's deeply unqualified for this position, is not acceptable? Will they say Kash Patel, who has said he's going to throw people in jail? That's the next big test. But as we move along, it is important for people to say, this is what the Supreme Court did yesterday. This is what the 11th Circuit did yesterday. Looks a hell of a lot like what they've been doing for the past 8 years.
So the 11th Circuit had slapped down Eileen Cannon twice before. Because it's just bogus rulings on her part. And they're going to honor that judicial responsibility. Supreme Court decision yesterday, okay. All right, but I don't see the Supreme Court addressing the fact that one of its justices had an improper conversation.
Michael, I'm not saying we're walking in a winter wonderland.
Joe, you had your moment. Let me just finish the point.
I know, but
I get that.
Tell us something we don't know.
Well, I'm telling you something that you seem to forget. And so let me make my point. You may not like.
Did you see that? First off, damn mic drop moment, damn good mic drop moment from Michael Steele here. But did you see the reaction from some of the people on that panel in the wide shot? See if you catch it.
Here's the point. I know, but
I get
tell
that.
us something we don't know.
Well, I'm telling you something that you seem to forget. And let me make.
Damn, that one guy, he's like this, and then he looks over at his co-host like, ooh, it's getting spicy. And it does. We'll continue.
My point. You may not like it, but I'm going to make it. And the reality of it is, I take your civility argument, and you like to say 78 million people voted for Donald Trump. Well, 82 million people voted for Joe Biden.
Right.
And he didn't get that civility that you're talking about from Donald Trump in those 4 years.
Right.
So now the expectation is, because he's won again and he got 78 million people, we all got to be civil to Donald Trump. Well, okay, I'm prepared to be civil.
Nobody said that.
You did.
No, I didn't say it.
I did.
No, so I didn't say everybody has to be civil.
The reality of it is, you're saying, no. You're using the term civil. I've never used that term. I'm using your term. You put civility on the table.
And you said we all have to be civil. There is a pushback that you have to have.
But Joe.
I'm just talking about Barack Obama.
I'm not. Fine. I'm not talking about that. My main point is, everybody's looking at this from a one-way perspective. How we need to approach Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. How the hell is he approaching us?
Yeah.
Right? The man wants to lock up citizens. The man wants to turn the government against him. How are we to respond to that? Are we supposed to be civil?
Michael, do you think we don't know that?
Doesn't seem like it.
Michael, why do you...
Not you. I'm just saying the
Michael,
broader
Michael,
you.
Why do you feel the need to create false choices?
I'm not creating a false choice. I'm using your words.
You have created...
I'm using you. You put civility on the table.
My words. You took me saying that it's not the end of the world, that Barack Obama smiled and talked to Donald Trump, and you're turning that into that we have no idea what's before us.
I'm not.
You will play very well today on Blue Sky and Threads and X. Congratulations.
I'm not playing to anybody. I don't have an audience here. I'm just saying. I don't have a particular. I'm talking to the American people just like you are. I'm using the words you use.
No, you're twisting.
And so I'm not twisting your words. So let me untwist them.
Okay, good.
Civility is a two-way street, as I said at the very beginning, and then you attacked that.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You did,
Michael.
You did. So you did. No.
You need to go back and look at the tape.
We can look at the tape, but the reality of it is, my general point, Joe, is that civility is a two-way street. If you want to throw civility on the table, I'm with you. I'm all down with that. I think absolutely what we witnessed yesterday with 5 living presidents sitting there at the funeral of a former president is a seminal American moment. All right, and it's an important one. And yeah, the politics and the sort of funny moments that occur, those are great. But next week, we start a new regime. We start a new direction. And everybody wants us to behave a certain way in this new era. And I'm more than willing to do that.
Way?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if it's civility,
way?
if it's accommodation to Donald Trump, as we see corporate America doing, if it's bending the knee, whatever it is. But my point is,
does anybody here think that we should accommodate Donald Trump when he violates political norms, democratic norms? Does anybody? Because I don't.
Because that's not what we're talking.
So that's good to hear, Joe. But what Michael Steele is talking about is they're referencing the funeral, the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. And President Obama and Donald Trump sat beside each other. The seats were assigned. And there were moments that were videotaped and photographed, the two talking to each other and President Obama laughing. And I think even Trump smiling at one point. Now, I actually understand why a lot of people are pissed off about this. Because, again, it's one of those things where it's like, you call him an authoritarian, and he is. You say he's a fascist, and he is. It undermines that, whether you realize it or not, Mr. President, talking to President Obama. Please like and subscribe, Mr. President. When you are seen yucking it up with him, I understand not going in there and taking a swing at the future president at the funeral of a former president. I understand that. I understand a base level of civility and poise. But you do not want to give the wrong impression that you are friendly with Donald Trump or that Donald Trump is a buddy or that Donald Trump is even somebody you respect. And if that is the impression you want to give, then you should walk back all the other things you've said about him. I understand the incongruity there, and it is a fine line to walk. The frustrating thing, though, is when the insinuation from people like Joe Scarborough and others, which is that it's actually good or there's nothing wrong with it, or, you should be civil with the incoming president. He had people voted for him. People voted for him. He won the election. So, we were really obligated to give him the benefit of the doubt. Fuck no. Pardon my harsh language there. Of course not. I mean, and that's what Michael Steele's getting at. Like, this is what's maddening. By that same logic, President Biden should have been given, let's rewind the clock. President Obama, Republicans should have been very gracious. Elected and Republican voters should have been extremely gracious to President Obama. He won twice, consecutive elections, won the popular vote both times as well. You should have given him the benefit of the doubt. You should have been civil to him. You should have been deferential towards him. He won, and he won the popular vote. Many of them weren't. Many elected Republicans weren't. Many Republican voters weren't. They didn't give a damn. The fact that people voted for Barack Obama. Same thing with President Biden. President Biden won, again, as Michael Steele's pointing out, 82 million votes. And elected Republicans and Republican voters didn't give a damn. But we're supposed to give a damn because Donald Trump won the election? No, absolutely not. Was the election legitimate? Yes. Is he going to be president? Yes. But I'm not obligated, nor are you, to show Donald Trump respect, or even the respect that the office, quite frankly, deserves. Because I agree, there's a reason in my videos, I tend to refer to presidents no matter where they are in history and no matter what political party they're part of, by their title. Because I'm a dork for that. I'm very civic pilled. Civics is very important. There's a degree of pomp and circumstance and pageantry to state politics, no matter if you're a constitutional democratic republic or a monarchy. I would address, President Bush, if I met him as Mr. President, I would show him, even though I thought his presidency was atrocious, even though I think that it set terrible precedent, I would afford him the respect that his office deserves. And a lot of people wouldn't even give Bush that, and I understand, given the wars. Donald Trump is my one exception so far, because not only does he have terrible policies that I despise, he is also an unprecedented authoritarian who constantly disgraces the very office he has. It's not mere political disagreements, it's not mere policy disagreements. We're not obligated to show Trump and MAGA elected Republicans the respect that they don't show Democrats. That's what Michael Steele's getting at. And if we are going to have civility and respect and the benefit of the doubt, then Trump has an obligation to meet us. Elected Republicans have an obligation to meet us. But instead, it's always framed on right-wing media and, yes, quite frankly, even centrist mainstream media. Hey, Democrats, what are you going to do to win over Republicans? Hey, Democrats, what are you going to do to show Donald Trump the respect that he deserves? Why aren't they asking, and why aren't Republicans being asked, hey, Mr. Republican President, Mr. Republican Senator, Mr. Republican Speaker, Mr. So-and-so, so-and-so, what are you going to do to meet Democrats in the middle? What are you going to do to earn the respect of the Democratic voter, of the Democratic politician? How are you going to show your respect for them? It's never asked. Meanwhile, CNN, even MSNBC, the New York Times, and other places are littered with videos and op-eds demanding that Democrats need to better understand, better appreciate, better respect Donald Trump and his supporters, but never, no matter what the outcome of the election is the obligation ever put on the right. When Joe Biden won the 2020 election, I didn't see Fox News op-eds or Daily Wire op-eds or Fox News panels like this where they're like, you know what? We got our asses kicked. I guess we better go to Joe Biden hat in hand and say, thank you, Mr. President. We have a lot to learn. We need to show you some respect. We need to give you the benefit of the doubt. And we need to understand what motivates Democratic voters because we lost the election. So clearly there's something to this. We need to be humble. We need to be deferential. There is none of that ever. But the burden is always imposed on us. And that is what pissed Michael Steele off so much. And he was right to call it out. More people should call it out as well. And I think it says something that the guy who called it out, again, Michael Steele, is a former chairman of the Republican National Convention. Food for thought. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.